Jess here from Enlightened Well. I'm going to guide you through a quick warm-up that is best used for a lower body workout. As always, let's start with some shoulders. You can take those shoulders back. Just trying to introduce a little movement, get into your body, notice how things are feeling. You can roll it forward when you're ready. We'll go for 3, 2, last one. Nice. We're going to take it to neck. So I want you to think about chin down to chest, ear to shoulder, look up at the ceiling, ear to second shoulder, and chin down. What we're going to do is smooth that out, make it into a nice circle. You can make this as large or as small as feels best in your body today. If it hurts at all, try a smaller range of motion. And when you are ready, we will end with our chin down to our chest, and you can reverse directions from here. So ear to shoulder, look up at the ceiling, ear to shoulder, chin down, and keep it going. Going for about 3 or 4. Set your own tempo. So whatever speed feels comfortable for you. You might be faster or slower than me, and that is perfectly a-okay. When you're ready, let's end with that chin down to chest. Bring it up through center, nice and controlled. Good. We're going to take it down to the floor in a tabletop position. We're going to start with some cat-cows. So we want a nice tabletop setup, palms right under the shoulders. You want to think about screwing those shoulder blades together, knees stacked right under the hips. We're going to inhale, belly down, tail high, gaze up. Exhale, squeeze the belly, squeeze all that air out, gaze back towards your legs. Again, syncing with your own breathing. So it's inhale, belly down, squeeze all that air out, exhale, arch the back. Paying attention here to what your shoulder blades are doing. They should be pinching together at the bottom and spreading apart as you push the floor away in that cat. Taking a few more linked with your own breathing. Maybe checking in on what your tail is doing. So your tail should be pointing high up towards the ceiling in that cow, and then tucking under as you arch your back in that cat. Want to think about keeping your whole hand down to the floor. We'll take about 1 more. You want to end in that arched back in that cat. Squeeze all that air out. Inhale down to a flat back. We're going to stay here in tabletop for just another moment. We're going to take adductor rock backs. So one leg kicks out long. Think about the arch of your foot being into the floor. Palms stay down to the floor. We're going to rock back. So press up back in towards your heel. I like to keep my toe tucked in that back foot, the one that is resting on the floor. If having your toes tucked under here feels like too much stress on the bottom of your foot, you could definitely untuck. We want to think about the hips staying squared up with the floor. So we're not kind of twisting out open here. So that leg that is down on the floor supporting, we want that to stay nice and squared up. And if you want to work on synchronizing your breath, you can inhale forward, exhale back. When you're ready, let's bring it back in center. Find your tabletop again. Opposite leg goes out. So arch of the foot into the floor, press it back. So should feel a nice opening in the groin here. Kind of start to feel the hips waking up. Feel those quads waking up. we'll go for 2 and 1. We're going to take it to kneel ups. So these, I love these to fire up the glutes. So option to set up with your toes tucked or your toes flat. There's benefits either way. Toes tucked should give you a nice stretch in the bottoms of your feet. If you have plantar fasciitis or any other kind of foot issues where that feels too intense, then I'm going to suggest flatten those feet out. And we're going to bring it up tall. So I want you to think about big squeeze of the glutes at the top, and we're just sit back to the heels. Bring it up tall. So think about active in the core here, trying to stay nice and tall through the whole movement. So your torso just stays nice and tall and lifted, shoulders back. And you can really take your hands wherever feels best here. So hands to the hips is fine. Hands crossed across the shoulders. Fingers tapped by the temples, whatever works for you. Maybe we get some jazz hands. Go for about 2 more of these. And we're going to wrap up on the floor here. I'm going to turn to face you. So we're going to bring 1 foot forward into this half kneeling position. I want you to lean into that front leg, trying to get that front knee to go past the toes. We're going to hold here for about 15 seconds. So we want to feel this kind of in that front leg. You want to think about your whole foot staying down to the floor. You got 3, 2, 1. Nice. Bring that foot back. Opposite leg comes forward. And I'm going to press into that front leg. Trying to get that nice stretch. Should be in the lower part of your calf. Here for about 20 seconds again. So we're trying to get that little bit of mobility in our ankles. This is very helpful during our squats. Sometimes if you've got real tight ankles, it can really restrict your range of motion in squats. So this is a good way to get the ankles prepped for that movement. Good. And you can bring it up to your feet when you are ready. We're going to start with an overhead hold with a high knee march. If you wanted to, you could add some very light weights to this. You're going to hold your arms overhead nice and strong. Very slow high knee march. So I want you to think about trying to find your balance on that standing leg. We want as little movement as possible. So we want to avoid those big shifts of weight from leg to leg. Thinking really tall, really stable. Should feel a lot of activation in the core here. Should feel some quads working, some hip flexors. I'm going to stay with this for a few more. Good, you've got 3, 2, 1. Nice. We're going to take standing windmill. So feet go wide, toes and knees point forward. Arms come out wide. You're going to twist and reach down. You can take that reach however far feels accessible to you. So depending on how your hamstring mobility is, you may find that you can reach really far, maybe even all the way down to the floor. If that feels comfortable and accessible for you, you can do that. Just taking it to wherever feels reasonable. And we want to keep a nice easy pace on these. If you go too fast, sometimes you can end up a little dizzy. If you start to find yourself dizzy in these, you can just stop and move on. Trying to wake up those twisting muscles here. We'll go for 2. Good, last one. Nice. We're going to do a round of good morning. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what's happening here. My feet are about hip width distance apart. Fingertips tap to the temples. Active core. We're going to hinge forward so that butt goes back. Soft knees and stand up. Big squeeze of the glutes at the top. So this is nearly the same movement as those kneel ups. So I want you to think about what your hips were doing while we were doing those kneel ups and try to recreate that. We don't need to go super deep into this, just as far as you can go with control. So we're not trying to fold all the way forward here. You want to keep that tight core. Might feel a little bit of a pull, little stretch in the hamstrings at the bottom, but also might not. So if you don't feel that, it doesn't necessarily mean you're doing it wrong. Go forward. 2 more. Good. Last one. Nice. And we're going to end with some calf raises. So option here to keep your fingers tapped somewhere for a little bit of help with balance. We want to stay nice and controlled with these. So not speeding through them. You're just going to lift up to your toes and lower back down. So just trying to wake up those calves. We have warmed up glutes, warmed up quads, gotten into our hamstrings a little bit. Now we're trying to wake up calves. We've got some movement into the ankles, into the knees. And so this warm-up should have you ready for whatever your lower body workout entails. We'll take a few more of these. 3, 2, last one. Good. Great job warming up that lower body. And I hope that you have an awesome workout. I'll see you next workout.